You know, we're very lucky, you and I, to live where there's a temperate climate, beautiful scenery, and plentiful water. Nature has given us lakes and rivers, great and small, tidal marshes, bays and ponds, and wonderful coastal waters like this. What a bounty to use, to enjoy, to preserve for our children. But here's the catch. Often we misuse our resources, and we don't do nearly enough to preserve them. Pretty soon there won't be anything left to enjoy. Unless all of us get the message, it's one thing to be lucky, but luck isn't enough. Just look at what we've been blessed with. Long rivers meandering through our towns, wetlands where all kinds of aquatic birds live and thrive, ponds and lakes made to order for family fun, and seashores where so many of us live and work and play. You'd think we'd do anything to keep it like this. So why haven't we? Why are our rivers choked with sediment and vegetation? Why do our ponds and lakes stagnate and die? Who lets our wetlands fall victim to sand and silt? And how come the ecosystems of so many waterways show such dire signs of collapse? I know you've heard all of this before, and you know exactly whose fault it is. If only boaters weren't such slobs. If only industry would control its effluents. If only we'd build better sewage plants. Everything would be okay. Right? Wrong. Believe it or not, most of our sewage plants are efficient and up to date. Industry, by and large, is controlling the effluents with the most effective systems available. And many boaters are responsible users of the resources they enjoy. The real threat to our waterways comes from people who don't realize that what they do every day has an impact on our water. They may not even live near a river or a lake or a bay, but the impact is real. It's called non-point source pollution, and it's deadly. Let me explain. These fish are dead because the level of oxygen in their environment fell so low that they literally choked. It's a condition known as hypoxia, or not enough oxygen, and it's caused by too many man-made nutrients getting into the water. Human waste, acid rain, fertilizers. All of these things create hypoxia. These nutrients stimulate aquatic plant life to bloom. When it decomposes, it uses up the available oxygen, leaving the fish out of luck. To understand how those things get into the water in the first place, you have to look at nature's watershed systems. Rainfall runs overland, some of it soaking into the earth and recharging groundwater aquifers. Groundwater, which supplies much of our drinking water, seeps downward and discharges into nearby streams. These flow into larger bodies of water. All our waterways are connected right down to the coasts, and what affects one eventually affects them all. The biggest source of non-point pollution is runoff, something that happens all the time, something we don't even think about. It's time we did. You see, every time it rains, all the water has to go someplace. If it can't soak into the ground, it collects in storm drains, drains which empty into nearby waterways. And what does it carry? Oil and grease from roadways, heavy metals and chemicals washed off the streets, and all kinds of garbage that wasn't properly disposed of. When water can soak into the ground, most of that stuff is filtered out. But every time another large building goes up, every time another asphalt-covered parking lot is built, every time another concrete mall is constructed, we're adding to the impervious or impenetrable surfaces in our towns. And the more impervious surfaces, the less soft ground, where rainwater can be absorbed. The result? More contaminated water, more polluted runoff into the storm drains, into the rivers, into the lakes, and into our coastal waters. Take a look at one typical watershed area. 46% of the watershed is paved over, providing an expressway for pollutants straight into our waterways. Makes you think twice about land use, doesn't it?